record first and foremost. Then cue the music.
Y'all know who it is.
Yo. We back.
Back
Look here. It's the King and I Life podcast, baby.
Yes, indeed.
Back in this joint. As always, follow us on your preferred podcast platform. Hit us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Boy, this Patreon's gonna give us a goddamn headache. But your favorite thing for people to contact us is what again?
Please hit us at King and I 369 at gmail.com. Again, that's KINGANDEYE 369 at gmail.com. We're gonna run it like that.
Just like that. And we coming in with Miss Breezy once again. I'm the plug.
Yes,
Go
indeed.
hit her up on whatever music platform that you can find her on. Tell your peoples, let her know that the King and I Life podcast sent you her way. She's a dope artist. But we're about to get into this topic right quick. We seem to be on this relationship dynamic tip. We started off with married and living apart, and then we jumped into is monogamy dead? Now, how can I say this?
Yo, your mic is low.
How's that? Is that better?
Nope.
No?
Mm-mm.
Still not better? How about now?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, Lord, no. Don't do this to me today. Come on now. What about that?
All right, it's starting to come back now.
Oh, Lord. If it ain't one thing, it's another.
Right.
But is my mic good now?
Yeah, you sound a whole lot better.
Okay. I'm not going to edit that shit out. I'm going to leave that shit in there.
All right, cool beans. Let it ride then.
How am I going to put this? Soft ass dudes. Soft ass dudes. Let me tell you something.
It's softer than marshmallow or open campfire.
Right. As men, we take this journey in life going into manhood. A lot of us are not, especially, well, I'm not even going to make this a racial thing or a cultural thing. It seems like as the years go by, boys are not being groomed to be men for whatever reason.
True that.
Even if they choose to skip the lessons or ignore the lessons, but at some point in a man's life, you need to leave the childish, immature behavior behind.
Yes, sir.
At no point in your late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, late 30s, 40s, especially and beyond, should you be acting immature, insecure, and asserting your ego over a woman in a manner that degrades her and makes her feel less than the queen that she is. And I'm speaking about all women. There's no reason for a so-called man to play mental games, emotional games, or even physically harm a woman. It just makes no goddamn sense to me. And there are a lot of dudes out there who are corrupting the very fabric of good goddamn women, and they're damaging them to the point where they're not good enough for the next man, and it's just burning me up off the break.
My whole thing is this, right? Uh, being a younger uh, boy at the time and witnessing uh, men fighting women, and some of them gaining the upper hand over women, I'm so grateful that I did not pick up that BS. Um, and again, this wasn't in my household as far as my mom and my dad going through that shit. Thank goodness. But anyway, just watching some of my aunties go through things like that, or hear about them going through things like that. To me, there is no weaker vessel on this planet than a man who physically abuses a woman, especially when you know you got the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you outweigh a woman to a certain degree. Uh, who knows by how many pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying there aren't some women out there that'll take a man
That put them
hands
hands
down
on
through
you.
there. Now, I'm telling you, boy, like, there's some women out there throw the motherfuckers with you, boy.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I'm talking upon the men who know they physically can, handle a woman like a rag doll. I mean, you really got something going on with yourself, bro.
Yeah.
But I think that men nowadays, to a certain degree, uh, they're a little more sensitive than when we grew up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um,
Speak to it.
but the thing about it is because they didn't have those strong male role models, kind of like whether it'll be on TV or not on TV, them guys in the neighborhood. Like, for me, I knew a lot of guys that worked on the outside of the law. They
Mm-hmm.
did whatever the hell they had to do to survive, but at the same time, they helped their community to a certain extent because they always gave money to kids, or if they heard about somebody who couldn't goddamn keep their lights on or pay their rent or something like that, they took that for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to make a long story short, man, those strong male figures, they are not there anymore. I mean, if you look at um, all this controversy around this certain artist that's out now that has this deal with Nike and putting blood in his
Oh my
shoes.
fucking
And I'm not
god.
gonna say his name. I'm not saying no name. But I mean, like, what kind of role model are you setting for these kids, despite your sexual orientation? Um, but anyway, I just think that these dudes out here now, they kind of soft and shit. They in their feelings and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessary.
When you speak on this individual that you're speaking about, um, and there are a lot of other dudes out there along the same lines, but they're not as drastic. That is one of those issues or topics where I will 1 billion% agree with you on we need to be separate. Um, I personally do not think that is of his own volition. I think that is
I don't
his
either.
handlers or whoever they are.
I agree with you.
I think that's what they're pushing. And this topic actually came up when I was talking to a group of people earlier. Um, it's one of those things where they're trying to push this narrative on our children to have them growing up confused, taking the taking eliminating the growth in all of that from the house and pushing this in their face because they're always on their phones and TV and all this, that, and other. Um, now, I will give you just a little bit of pushback, a little bit of pushback with the lack of strong male figures in the house, because I didn't have one in there. And but I was able to grow up and have somewhat of a fucking clue. I do understand that there are a lot of boys or males out there who definitely could have benefited from a strong male figure in the household because they're fucking lost. But I've been talking to a friend of mine, and she's going through a situation with a dude that she's talking to or pursuing a relationship with, and he has a problem. He hasn't put his hands on her, but he's playing all types of mental games with her. They work in the same place, and apparently, whatever they were going through, she confided in another male coworker. This male coworker goes behind her back with a little bitch move and tells the dude that she's talking to whatever them two discuss. So now the dude she's talking to is feeling like him and her did something, which she said nothing happened, but the dude she's talking to keeps throwing it in her face and saying, oh, well, you did this behind my back, and was there something else going on, blah, blah, blah. And she's constantly telling him, no, 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 no. But he keeps coming at her with that. And I'm like, yo, leave the dude alone. One, you're not happy. Two, you shouldn't have to keep apologizing, especially if you didn't do anything wrong. Three, if he's throwing it up in your face that much, you mean nothing to him. And I flat out asked, I'm like, does this dude have another girl somewhere? Like, they don't live in the same city. So I'm like, does he have another girl? Because if you've really done nothing wrong, he shouldn't be coming at you like that. If this dude is saying that he don't trust you and you did nothing wrong, cut him off. Because that's some straight sucker ass shit, period.
I agree. Just to touch back on what I was speaking on earlier, when I say, like when we were growing up, we had figures like Mr. T, we had Bill Cosby, we had figures like the characters on Different World. We had
role models,
figures like that, who showed masculine energy.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. And again, not throwing any dirt at any man who grew up, an environment where they basically had to teach themselves how to be men. If anything, I take my hat off to those people even more because they did not have that strong male figure. So again, they had to come into that energy on their own and explore it and make it work for them. But as far as men nowadays, they're more yappity yap yap. You know what I'm saying? They more in that conversation of how females talk back and forth. That's female nature. That's cool. You can't knock them for being who and what they are. But as a man, I'm not going to be up there trying to be in the female's conversation. I don't do that. Like, case in point, like my wife, when her friends come over and they go to talking, I'm out of there.
Unless you are asked to be in the conversation.
And of course, they ask me from time to time. I be walking through, I'm like, I don't know.
Right, and you still be trying to dip out.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to get into that because again,
it's a setup.
I realized from a young age that when you see a whole bunch of women talking, keep it freaking moving because they might ask you for your opinion and they'll end up drawing you into the conversation, and next thing you know, you yappity yapping like they are. And
Either.
again, nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that, but
nothing wrong with
that's woman's energy, that's female energy. So
it.
I'm out the door, son. I'm working on my car, or at least sitting out on the back patio. I'm chilling.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
even pulled my son out there too, because I'm like, no,
Mm,
you don't need to hear that. You don't need to hear that.
yeah. But I don't. For the life of me, I am really having a hard time understanding dudes these days. Um, there, there's a culture of men out here who are just lost, and they can't pick it up. And I'm like I keep saying, I've been through a lot of shit in my life, a lot of shit that a lot of the average man would not have to deal with or have gone through or whatever the case may be. And for
Right.
the most part, I've learned that my center axis is what keeps me grounded, focused, and logical in a lot of things. Um, I'm whatever I'm going through, I'm not going to project that negative energy on a woman to the point where I'm beating her down because I'm broken. Um, I'm not going to burden her with my insecurities. I'm not going to damage her to the point where the next man has to deal with the bullshit that I've inflicted on her.
Right.
I'm not understanding why these dudes are acting like that. I just don't know.
I just think that they carry so much of that damn destructive nature, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that we all grow up with our own personal issues and have our own trials and tribulations. But at some point, um, you have to let that male energy take over, meaning you have to put down that childish stuff that you used to
Yeah,
play with.
right.
I mean, this is real life out here, son. You gotta let that high school mentality or that college mentality go, or it's kind of like how Nas was saying in one of his songs. He was talking about living in your third and fourth childhood. Dang, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a dope song anyway. But he was talking about how these men and women are living in their third and fourth childhood, and they just refuse to grow up. They get to that one point in life, and they feel like, what? Even though I'm 30 now, I still want to live like I'm in my early 20s. So they hang out with younger people. They do stuff that younger people do,
Mm.
and they fail to graduate to the next stage of their life. So here you are in your 30s, going into your 40s, and you still living like you in your damn 20s. You still sagging your pants. You still,
Mm.
yo, son, what's up, son? What's good? The hell, man? Come on now. We all know that there's certain languages for certain environments that you use,
Right.
but you don't take that street language to the corporate office, and you don't bring that corporate office to the street, because motherfuckers be looking at you like, what the hell did you just say to me?
Yeah.
So the
But
next thing
then,
you know, you getting your ass beat.
yeah. But if you take the street to the corporate office, you have to incorporate it in a way that it functions in that environment. Like you
Right.
can't go in a corporate office with the yo boy attitude, blah blah blah. No, you bring your street knowledge that helps you navigate those waters effectively. Make the environment comfortable for you. And if you're going to bring that corporate lifestyle to the streets, bring it in a manner that uplifts the people in the street so they can have a little more goddamn savviness to whatever the hell they're doing. Um,
Exactly.
but at the end of the day, fucking men need to grow the fuck up. I am so sick of seeing men act like big ass goddamn kids. Like they have no North Star. None. Like their magnetic compass, their magnetic azimuth is just off. And it burns me the hell up because I have to look at me as a black man in America. If I can go through all the nonsense that I've gone through, why can't the next dude do it? Why can't the dude 3 spaces down the line from me do it? There is no reason why life should be that hard for certain individuals. And I just don't understand why they are inflicting this nonsense on innocent bystanders. What is the collateral damage about? Like, find your happiness. Like, find it. Like, goddamn, we have not so good days, but as the religious people say, every day above ground is a goddamn day full of possibilities. And I just don't understand why people are so lost.
I mean, to me, I just think that, and not trying to, divert the responsibility of growing into a man and coming into, your manhood. But the times now where we got all these I don't want to put it all on celebrities. I don't. But a lot of these shows out here now, they kind of like they're making even real men look like something like less than a man to a certain extent. They're showing that, like a man has feminine energy. And I think that every man has, some part of you come from a woman, so you're gonna have some of that female energy.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of that energy you allow to, control you is strictly and totally up to you.
Right.
Again, like my boy Karki said, sometimes I get in my feelings. Sometimes
Right.
I get emotional. But again, I think that as men, we have to control that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are certain subjects. For me, I even have to watch myself because I can find a thought in my head that will take me back to my childhood like that. And
Mm.
here I am up here in my dang feelings and being less than what I know I am because I'm putting myself in a thought that allows myself to be a child. And
Right.
it's like that's not needed right now. One of the things that I think I've learned over the years is, and this is just me personally speaking, is emotions are tools.
Yes, they are.
So there are gonna be times when you're gonna need a hammer. So that means you're gonna need to be angry. There's times you're gonna need to let the sun shine in. You're gonna be
Mm.
happy, and so on and so forth. But you mentally have to choose what emotion you need to pull out of your bag at a certain time. And if you allow yourself to pull out that feminine card, meaning show more compassion or be in your feelings more than what you need to, then you're displaying a emotion that's not necessary for the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the point that I'm saying is, as men, we have to be more in control of our emotions because we are the ones who are supposed to be guiding our communities.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there are plenty of strong women out here in the world who are capable of leading, no doubt. But when it comes
Mm-hmm.
down to male energy, that is the responsibility of the men in our community. That's not a female's responsibility right there.
For the most part, yeah. And that definitely depends on, you know, for each individual, it depends on the circumstances that you have been fortunate of or unfortunate to grow up in.
Right.
For instance, I didn't have the luxury of having a strong male in the household. I didn't have the luxury of having, you know, a consistent source of testosterone around to guide me, but I had enough mental capacity of my own to know certain paths not to go down, or when a line was, when I was treading too close to a line or something like that.
Right.
You know, as far as getting in my feelings, to this day I get in my goddamn feelings depending on what it is, but I don't get into my feelings to the point where it's going to negatively impact a person who is not as resilient as me, mainly women. When it comes to women and I get in my feelings, me getting in my feelings, me shutting the fuck down. And it takes certain women to check me on that. And um, when they're checking me, when a woman is checking me because I'm in my feelings, they're checking me to the point where it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on with you? I need to know what the fuck is going on with you. I'm not being chastised or anything because, you know, I went through the stage where I get my feelings and I blow the fuck up. I recognize that. And as I've gotten older, I started putting that shit in check because hell, whether this woman did it to me or not, I can't inflict that anger on her because my personality is, if I get to that point and I blow up, it's wrong for me to project that on a woman because I am going to go ballistic. Not that I'm gonna put my hands on her or anything like that, but I'm going to go on a path to where I'm going to make her unhappy emotionally. And you know, you were talking about what happens on TV, and I can't agree with you more. Um, what they are doing on TV with these dudes and these relationships and stuff, it's creating this atmosphere to where they think they can really do this in real life and it's okay. And it just I, man, it just burns me the hell up.
Totally, man. It's like, why even allow yourself to go in the space with a female where it comes to violence,
Mm,
where you can just simply walk away?
just walk away.
I mean, there are some women now. Don't get me wrong. Now they
Who
will
will
push your
push
motherfucking
those
button, boy.
fucking
They
buttons, boy? They will
make you feel
push them.
like, if boy, ooh, if you
Mm,
were a man, I would beat the brakes off your mother.
man.
But but I've been in situations like that where a female have tried me like that, and I'm like, man, you know what? You're not worth me going to jail for,
Not in the least bit.
because at the end of the day, your ass gonna be beat, my ass gonna be in jail, and I'm not with paying them goddamn fines and hospital bills and all that shit. Nope. When I can simply take my ass on home or wherever it is I need to go,
Mm,
but I do not have to be here. And some people would be like, well, uh you bagging down. No.
mm,
I'm using my higher conscience, and my higher conscience is saying this is not where you need to be right now, because you know once that last button is pushed, it's game over.
pretty
Like,
much.
whoever, you can get it. So
You can get all of it.
I try to restrain myself the best I can, and knock on wood, thank goodness I have. Um, Now I can't say that for some niggas now, but for
Mm,
women, I'm not finna go there with you.
mm-mm. And
Ain't
yeah,
nothing worth my freedom.
mm-mm. Ain't worth your freedom. Ain't worth the mark on your criminal record. Um, it ain't worth losing your job. It ain't worth the
No,
money. It ain't worth none of that.
hell no.
It's not even worth inflicting that nonsense on that woman, who in turn will probably inflict that on her children, who in turn will grow up with that nonsense and inflict that on their peers as they're growing up.
Yep.
It ain't worth it.
I'll give you a prime example, right? Me and my first wife had known each other for 7 years, about 7 years before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And then only after we got married, that's when she turned crazy. But anyway.
Sound like my third.
Well, we had a situation, right, where this is when I was living in Cartersville, Georgia. And, that's like an hour or so from damn Atlanta. But I had some family that came into Atlanta. So, anyway, I'm telling her, I'm like, hey, I'm finna go hang out with my family, my cousins, and everybody that came in town. So we're going to kick it for a minute.
Right.
And I'm asking her to go with me. I'm like, hey, come kick it with us. And she and her feelings, no. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll be back then. So anyway, that was probably around about noon, a little bit before noon. I came back home about 7:30. And this female, I ain't gonna say what I really want to say, then trashed my whole goddamn apartment. Like, she even stabbed a stuffed animal that my mom gave me. I'm like, what?
Crazy, deranged.
So anyway, after going through the paces with her, I go and use the bathroom. She takes my car keys. She in my damn AMG, and I'm like, oh my God, she's really doing this in front of my neighbors. They coming out their houses and shit. I'm like, oh my,
serious right now?
No, don't do that.
Are you serious right now?
Yes. So I'm at this point, I'm like, man, if this shit go left, which it already have, I'm finna goddamn lose my job. So I had no other damn choice but to goddamn call the cop. Cause I was like, if my neighbors call, they automatically gonna assume I'm the aggressor here.
True that.
So anyway, I called, they show up, her ass ran off some goddamn where. And now I got these motherfucking cops in my motherfucking crib or in my apartment, walking through my shit, lifting up my shit to see if I got goddamn drugs. They looking at the car, they looking at where I live. They're like, you got to be doing something to afford this.
Oh my God, man.
So I'm sitting here on the couch looking at the damn roof like, what in the did I do to deserve this, right?
Right.
So to make a long story short, they searched around the premises, never could find her. Wrote out a report and shit. And I'm like, man, if this shit get back to my job, even though again,
you ain't
I'm
do
not
shit
the
wrong.
aggressor, I didn't do shit wrong. I'm gone. It's game over. But anyway, to make a long story short, it never got back to my job. Thank goodness. But it was just one of those situations, man. How the hell do you call the cops on your wife? I'm like, do you not see this goddamn real? Like, this broad really did my shit in, because everything I had before, me and her got married.
Right.
But man, I wish I could have took some pictures. She really trashed that motherfucker.
Wow. I can't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, my neighbors were all out on their porch, like, what the hell is going on here? She got down running my shit up the street, coming back, and
wow,
blowing a horn and shit. I'm like, what is you doing?
No.
All because she thought I was with someone else at the end of the day. And I'm like, I asked you to go. I begged you to go, and you told me no. But
wow.
Those were one of the situations.
Look here. It's the King and I Life podcast. We are in this conversation. I don't even know what we're gonna title this right now, but talking about soft ass dudes. Again, follow us on your preferred podcast platform. Hit us up on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
KINGEYE369@gmail.com. Again, that's KINGEYE369@gmail.com. Holla at your boys.
Yeah, yeah.